You are watching Mare Postal.
Hey guys, I'm just going to start this one off with a huge epilepsy warning. Like for realsy, for seriously. I don't want anybody with photosensitivity issues to watch this if it's going to be a problem. So just keep that in mind for like pretty much the entire video because I don't know where footage is going to be going. So if you have any photosensitivity issues, I'm going to give you a couple seconds, going to give you a couple, a little bit of time, but don't watch this video. All right, now I'm going to actually start the video. Hello humans, it's me, Human. I'm really excited to talk about racketeering in the world of Digimon World 4. So, YouTube, this is a joke. I don't mean it. It's not real. It's all fictional. I'm talking about Digimans and pocket monsters and whatever. So, this is how to break the Digimon World 4 economy. So, to preface this, me and my brother, we were playing, and don't ask me why, because I realize this is not a good game. It is not fun. The menus are incredibly cumbersome. I'm pretty sure, no offense to them, but whoever translated the game didn't have a strong grasp on the English language, and I can't even blame them too much because half the time I don't feel like I do either. However, so we were playing Digimon World 4, and it's co-op. You got two separate characters. You can both save and stuff. You both have money and equipment, and it's not really that fun, so don't play it. However, if you're going to play it, this is how you break the economy. And this is a how-to video, but that's not the point of this. To me, this was just entertaining, and you're supposed to go like, ha ha, funny, he's talking about Digimon economy. Wow! Something like that. I don't know. Maybe it'll do something in the algorithm and all that. So, we were playing the game, and the game is really obtuse with directions or anything, so we were just playing for a little bit. And then he ends up pulling up a walkthrough, okay? And we were just kind of following it a little bit. And at one point they talk about this junk dealer in the game that you can give your money to in exchange for him developing new items, okay? So this is where this all started, alright? So, the guide mentioned this trick that, okay, say you give... I think the first payment was 1,000 Digi-Dollars. I think they're called bits, not Digi-Dollars. But so you give 1,000 bits to this bro, all right, and then you have we'll say it like this: Player 2 gives 1,000 Digi-Digits to the junk dealer, and then Player 1 goes and saves the game, not Player 2. All right, you follow me? And then you reset the game. You load it back up. Player 1 first. I don't know if it matters with Player 1. And you load everyone back in. Player 2 as well. And then the junk dealer already counted you as giving him the 1,000 Digi-Digits. Even though Player 2 still has 1,000 bits because they didn't save their game, so they didn't save the progress of them losing the money. But because the game world was in a state where he was already paid, because Player 1 saved their game, even though Player 1 didn't spend the money, you still progressed in that fashion. Okay, so we did that, and I don't even know if we went back to playing after that, because then I think that's when I had my huge, big brain. I wanted to say something else, but also, I think I already said a bad word in my Dark Souls 2 video, so I gotta be careful. That was an accident, but it's 4 hours, forgive me. So, that's when I had this genius idea, and I was like, and this seems like it's both so much more complicated than it needs to be, but also way simpler than it is, but you could easily mess this up. So I was like, wait a minute, Brosif, what happens if, say, I sold all my money to you, or I sold all my equipment, gave all my money to you, my Digi-currency, and then you saved the game with all my money, but then I didn't, and then we reset the game. So he's like, no, that wouldn't work or whatever. But then he's like, wait a second, to kind of see where you're coming from. So we tried it, and it works. So we got this scheme going on where it keeps flip-flopping between the two players as to who's giving items to who and who's giving money to who, and only one person saves at a time, and it keeps going back and forth, and you gotta make sure You got to make sure that you don't cross things up a little bit or go out of order, else you're going to be upsetty spaghetti and Daddy Digimon isn't going to bail you out of it. So I got footage of it on the Xbox version, kind of, asterisk, parentheses, trademark, whatever, buzzwords. So we were playing the GameCube version. We were obviously saving on the GameCube memory card, but I didn't want to mess with our files or anything because that's what we were playing. So I already put it at the beginning, but obviously big epilepsy warning. There's going to be a bunch of flashing and strobing lights and stuff like that. So I already had this on my Xbox, specifically the 360 for the backward compatibility video I did. And if you've seen that video, you know. If you haven't, it doesn't run well. The menus have a bunch of flashing effects and stuff. Everything's stained with yellow. It's really not a good time. There's no music. I'm not even sure if there's sound effects. It's just like really doesn't work well. But because I already had everything set up for both the stream I did and for recording footage for the other video, I'm like, I don't want to mess with our save file, so I just use that version. So the one thing, I did get the cycle to work one time, and then the second time when I went to go save it during the second cycle, it crashed. So no, it does not normally do that. But I'm like, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. You saw it function the first time. It's completely understandable what's going on. So at this point, I'm actually going to probably walk you through this now. So what you do, all right? You got two files. And so player one is going to take off all their equipment, spend all their Digi-Dollars on items, and then player one is going to give all their items and money to player two. All right? And then player two is going to save the game. And then you reset the system or reset in-game, which I just learned you could do that today. Resetting the system is honestly probably quicker, but not with the 360. So then you reset your system, and then you load. All right? So now player two has everything that player one gave them, but player one still has access to all those items, right? So then player two is going to take off all their equipment. They're going to sell all their items, give all bits and items and everything to player one, right? Then player one saves the game, and then you reset your system. And then this is an endless loop. So my brother made this sweet flowchart. That way we could follow the steps every step of the way. Because surprisingly, when you're actually doing it, it gets like your head gets a little fuzzy as to where you're at in the steps. And maybe we're overcomplicating in our heads, but I don't want to mess this up. So yeah, he made this sweet flowchart. And so then you may be asking yourself, all right, if you played Digimon World 4, you're certainly not asking this question. But if you haven't, like, why would you even bother doing this? Sounds like a lot of work for a children's game. All right, yeah, but no. So everything, the Digi-Economy deserves to be absolutely bankrupt and wrecked because everything is way too expensive. You make no money. You lose all your money all the time if you die. All the enemies are incredibly damage spongy, while you take a ton of damage. Even with two players, it's tough, unnecessarily tough. Enemies can block all the time. Your only hope is better equipment, but better equipment is really expensive. And this gameplay is quite not fun. I would personally not spend my time alone, my free time, playing this game if I was not playing it with somebody else. Now, I'm usually pretty positive when it comes to the video games and media. However, this game is just boring. Now, like I said, once you start getting the racketeering, though, I didn't say that at all yet. But if you're playing it with somebody else, and you're racketeering the Digi-Economy, then this becomes, it almost tickles that part of my brain that likes to see numbers go up. And then you actually start to get like a somewhat functional game as far as the speed in which you can acquire better stats and equipment, because almost all of that is tied to equipment and money. And as far as like attack, if you're thinking about like attack equipment, because that's even worse, is you need to level up specific technique points specifically towards your Digimon's type of attack, and it's incredibly slow. And then, okay, whatever, you know what, maybe I can Digivolve into cool Digimon. No, not really. Not unless you want to beat the game first and then beat it again on hard mode. and then do crazy things like try to beat certain dungeons with only 1 HP on hard mode after you've already beaten the game probably twice. Like, I don't know why you do that. That sounds awful. This, like I said, I think with people, this is fun because it's kind of nonsense. But alone, this is a struggle. So, but if you're playing alone, just make like a burner second player and just keep transferring things to them back and forth. They only need to be in the lobby. They don't really need to do anything. Because that's literally exactly what I did for demonstrating this video. So, with that, I know I was trash talking the game, and again, I normally don't do that. But now I'm going to say, with the knowledge of how to break the Digimon World 4 economy, I want you, dear human, to go find an unlucky soul and go play Digimon World 4. Go out there with your newfound knowledge. And I'm going to pretend that we are the first people to figure this out. Do not tell me otherwise. I want to feel like a super genius. So go out there, play Digi-Economy Destroyer 4, show them how capitalism can be exploited and how it works for you. For once in your life, it's going to work for you. And just have fun. Humor. This has been me, Human, and I'm out.